Okay, let's see how this. That's not gonna work. All right. So I'm currently. How's that looking? I'm currently sitting inside a Honda Civic Honda Civic. I'm sitting inside a Honda City. It's November 2025, and yeah, today is an interesting day. Early start as always. But today I started the Imperial Acquisition course that Charlie Morgan had recently released completely for free, which is still crazy to me. I've been listening and looking at Charlie's content for like the past 12 months, I'd say, or a bit longer. Not as much as recently, but interestingly, I just came across one of his videos again, and he mentioned that he's released his course, and I thought, wow, okay, I like his content, I like his angle on business. He stands out from most people that I've seen online, and he's never tried to push a course or like try to get people to buy something for him, like to his general like mass audience anyway. So when I found out he has a course, I thought, let me check it out, and I've checked it out, and I've done the first lesson today, and I must say I'm very impressed, but I didn't expect anything less. At this moment in my life, the past 7 months I've been learning about AI and different ways to use it in business. I've been learning automations, and I've actually started freelancing, where I've just finished up a contract with one of my first clients. Literally yesterday, before I started the course, I delivered the system for my client, and they're happy. I woke up to a message from them today, basically saying like, wow, I couldn't believe, like, this is really good. Like, how did you do it, etc., etc. I want to come back to this because yeah, it's all weird how the world works, man. It works in amazing ways. But yeah, I've been learning the past 7 months, and with the aims of building a business to become financially free by helping others, and then through that, hopefully getting serious income, generating serious income to help myself, free myself financially, and free those around me financially, and look after the people around me, and then give back to people in general that need help. So inshallah, that's going to come together. But yeah, I just feel like I'm on the right path right now because of how things are aligning. And saying that I finished with my first client yesterday, and then I started Charlie Morgan's course today, and the very first lesson in his course was called, bear with me because this name was, it's not a name, it's a crazy name. It's not a name that you would remember, but I mean, I think you would remember it because it's so crazy, but I can't actually pronounce it properly. So I think it's pronounced Elucidatory Axioms. So I don't even know what that means. It sounds crazy, and it matches, it suits the lesson perfectly, because this lesson was just like straight into it. Not in terms of straight into business, but straight into the foundations of what you need to do, or who you need to be to build a business. And I found, yeah, and I just think it came at the right time, and I'm looking forward to doing the rest of this course. So before I get into the lesson, I just want to explain what I'm looking to do. I want to document myself and try and make a vlog every single day after I've watched a video from the course, or just to update on my day and how things have been going with the business. So as I mentioned, I finished with my first client freelancing. I've successfully sold them a system, and I'm just waiting for them to pay me some money. But yeah, going on to the course and how everything is just aligning perfectly. The lesson, Elucidatory Axioms, focused on about 8 or 9, I've got 9 key points here, or 8. So the first one was causal law, meaning combining thesis and antithesis to produce a synthesis. Or what I took from this is basically cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. If you do something, the cause, you're going to get an effect or an outcome of this. But Charlie went down to break it even further, explaining how this is actually behind every single thing in the world right now. You have your thesis, then an antithesis, merge them together for a certain amount of time, and then you have your synthesis or your outcome. So this is like, the thesis is water, The antithesis is environment or temperature below 0 degrees. You merge those two together for a certain amount of time and you're going to come out with ice. So this is the concept, and then there's more layers underneath this in terms of business, finding solutions, using critical information, providing value, and then ultimately ending up with receiving money. So it's it's very applicable to what I've just gone through, but I'll talk about that at the end. So the next note was making money. So speaking about how money is actually made, you can only make money by creating value. That was the lesson there, and so many people overlook this. When it comes to making money or starting a business, you have to bring value to the table, and then through that you're going to get paid because you're helping people. But on top of this, what Charlie mentioned that was really interesting is that you have to create an emotional association to that value. So this is done by helping somebody with a pain. Through solving that pain or removing that pain from them, you're creating this emotion inside of them like a relief, and then through that they're going to attach that emotion to the value that you provided, and then they're going to pay you a lump sum or whatever you want to say. For instance, my client just said to me, like, wow, you've done it, this is amazing, how many hours should I charge you for? And it's that sentence there is just like, he's basically just giving me a blank check. Like, technically he's giving me a blank check, like, so I can see the power of this stuff. I'm literally now able, because of the skill and the information I've acquired, I was able to basically write my own check. But obviously, being a good businessman, you have to just be completely honest. And I told him how long it took me. And yeah, we're going to close that with a fair deal. But you can see the power behind this stuff. I created value. I removed the problem from his situation, which is ultimately going to affect his business and make him more money. And he was just willing to pay me whatever. Like, he didn't say his price. He asked me my price. So I definitely see the power in this. The next key point was critical information. So this is a tool used to solve the problem. You see, I've got my notebook here where I'm writing all these notes. It's important for me to keep this noted down. But yeah, critical information is the tool used to solve the problem. So this is basically the know-how, the information that you're going to use to do something. In this situation with my client, it was the information that I acquired to help me build the system for him successfully. Charlie then went on to speak about the lock and key analogy, where if a locksmith is going to make a key, he doesn't make a key without looking at the lock. He looks at the lock first to understand how the lock is made, the grooves inside of the lock. I'm not really sure what it's called, but he has to look at the lock first, then make the key. So this is the same. What I took from this is that it's the same concept with business. Before starting a business, you need to find a problem and then solve the problem. You don't make an idea without first checking that there's a problem that it's going to solve, basically. And this really hit home. I'm quite a creative individual, and many times I've had all these wild business ideas, thinking like, this is going to make me a multi-millionaire. But ultimately, I've been stopped in my tracks because the truth is nobody needs it. No one wants it at this moment. The next key takeaway was bending reality. This was a very good part of the lesson. Basically talking about manifestation or bringing things into reality, moving from one state to another. Everybody has their current state, the state they're in now, and then a desired state or a future state. I'm saying a desired state and a future state because there's two types of people. There's people that are going to decide where they end up, and they're going to decide their desired state. It's where they desire to be, so it is called their desired state. And then you have other people that have their, I forgot what I said, future state or whatever. Just the state they end up in and they didn't choose to be there. So most people living in the world right now are in a position that they don't want to be in, but it's because they didn't make a decision or focus on the desire of theirs. Or maybe they did focus on the desire, but that desire is not positive, and it's led them to where they are now, which is like a negative situation. But linking this bending reality to business is the fact that through bending, we can bend reality by helping a client go from one state, the current state, to their future state or their desired state, which is the state of the outcome that's helping them with their business. Like my client, I took him from having a broken system to having a completely working system that he can now use to make money. And then through that there's a transformation happening, and I've sold him that transformation. I've made money off that taking him from here to here. I've made money from that. So that's another important point from the lesson. The next point was application. So actually breaking the walls between the two states. So in the states, you have you have the transformation, but to get through that transformation, there's layers you have to break down. And again, going back to my recent client, it wasn't just boom, here's your system, it's ready. It was like, okay, here's this, try this. Okay, that's got issues, boom, 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 knock it down. Try the next one, there's issues, knock it down. And did that about 3 or 4 times to get the final working system. So this is what application means. And it's basically using that critical information you have to break through the walls and get from current state to desired state. I missed a key point about critical information. The definition is mobilizing reality and sending it into battle. So you mobilize the reality of you acquiring that critical information, the reality of you having that critical information and being able to use it and deploy it, and then you send it into the battlefield to go and work for you, go and win your war, or go and win your battle, ultimately win the war and just make money basically. The next one was talking about consulting, what consulting actually is, and the 3 different types of consulting: done for you, done with you, and do it yourself, where most of us are starting off with done for you and done with you, but the ultimate goal as a consultant is to get to do it yourself, where you're actually selling the critical information to the client. And this is the most scalable method, because it's like software. You make it once and then you just copy paste. There's not as much manual labor involved, I'm assuming, as there is when you're doing it, when it's done for you and done with you. Like my recent client, that work was done for you with a little bit of done with you, because he had an existing system, and I just I took it and I enhanced it and made it better basically. The next step was the 6-figure roadmap, and Charlie was just speaking about the Imperium roadmap checklist. So this is a list of things to go through to make a successful agency, sort of like a guideline. And then the final part of the lesson was the quadrant. So this was 4 areas to focus on if you want to build a successful agency. And yeah, it's basically telling you what to focus on, showing you what's important. And if you're not focusing on these, then you're not focused, and your mind and your attention is going somewhere that's not actually going to help you. And these 4 quadrants were solid foundations and mindset. So basically what this lesson is about, and I'm assuming the rest of week 1. Quadrant 2 was booking sales appointments. So yeah, self-explanatory. Quadrant 3, closing sales appointments. So closing those sales that you were booking. And then quadrant 4, delivering value and getting results from delivering value and providing results to your clients. So yeah, that's the summary of the lesson. And yeah, it's super powerful. I'm looking forward to doing the rest of the lessons and seeing my growth on this journey to building my agency, which is called Leader.io, by the way. And I want to focus on helping businesses generate more leads using AI technology to do that. So yeah, let's see how this goes. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're working on your business as well, I wish you all the best and all the success in the future to come. Let's go.